At its core, hockey is a very simple game. Score more goals than your opponent. That's it. The Avs did not even come close to doing that in this one. Avs lose to the Vegas Golden Knights 2-1.
Alex Newhook!
Oh boy.
Whoa! Mika!
This was not a terrible hockey game. It just wasn't a particularly interesting one, as the Avs failed to get a significant number of quality chances, and the ones they did, they flubbed. There really aren't a ton of quality highlights from Colorado, as their execution was simply not good enough. When you spot a team a 2-goal lead early, especially a team like Vegas, they immediately transition into a shutdown defensive role, and the game just isn't very exciting. Look, the Avs did not start this game on time. They did not play well through the first half of the first period, and digging a hole like that, you're likely to lose often. Just 2 minutes into the game, the Avs lose the tie and would never see it tied again. The Avs essentially give up an odd man rush. At best, it's a 3-on-3 situation here, but they get away with it. Nothing dangerous comes of it, and they're essentially able to recover as they get back into position. The problem is, they recover horribly. 3 players from the Avs, both Ryan Murray, Curtis McDermott of the defense, and Tyson Jost as a forward, all cover one guy in front of the net. That is just atrocious marking all the way around. You cannot have 3 guys commit to one guy, especially one guy who's not really involved in the play other than standing in front of the net. So, with 3 guys committed, there's a ton of room. This still should not have been a dangerous play. A shot comes in, McDermott ends up blocking it, can't get to the puck, as the first guy there is Chandler Stevenson. 1, because, the Avs had 3 guys committed to 1 player, but 2, the forwards also get beat, crashing the net. All around awful. Stevenson, this is a great little backhand that just flips up over Kemper. Look, I don't think that play is even entirely McDermott's fault. Sometimes it's hard to find rebounds, but when you're a player who does not get a lot of playing time, has already had struggles on the defensive end as a defenseman, and then in your first shift of the game, you end up with a play like that, that's a quick way to find yourself on the bench and out of the lineup. It's more or less what happened in this game, as McDermott was the low man on time on ice for everyone, including the forwards for Colorado. So it's clear that Bednar just does not trust him enough to play him. The second goal and the rest of the first half of the period are far more problematic than giving up an early one, though. The Avs power play was downright terrible. They got 2 chances on it. The first one was just bad. They failed to get into the zone and get set up almost entirely, 4 or 5 times at the blue line. Puck just goes the other way. Very, very bad. And somehow, the second power play opportunity was worse. Avs on the power play, I'm genuinely not sure what Compher is thinking here. He gets in the bumper slot. It's not a good pass, so he has to corral it off of his foot, which he does a nice job of. But then he just kind of skates towards Cale Makar, and keeps skating towards him, and keeps skating towards him, and then tries to throw a pass to him up high that he fires way too hard and in a bad spot. So now Makar tries to collect the puck, and then has to try and walk around the defenseman that Compher was bringing to him anyway, and you've created an extremely awkward situation. Maybe Makar probably should have just fired this puck in deep to get it out of danger, so both sides probably at fault here, but it gets poked off Makar's stick. It's a breakaway the other way, and then things get uglier and uglier. Compher actually almost manages to track this thing down, but he comes up a little short. The initial shot doesn't go in. Unfortunately, Makar has gotten beaten up the ice by the second man back, and it all falls apart as that one slips through Kemper. The Avs are now 2 for 22 on the season on the power play. With that goal against, giving up a shorthanded one for Vegas, they are now a net 1 goal in 22 power plays. That is just not even remotely close to good enough. Without the goal against, they're below 10%. With the goal against, they're below 5% net. You just can't have it. It's not acceptable. And look, I don't think the Avs played all that bad through the rest of this game, but it just didn't matter because they were in a 2-goal hole. Vegas could play the way they wanted to play defensively, and the Avs just couldn't crack it. They're not executing well enough to beat a team in a comfortable position. The Avs did get their post in this game, though, to make it 6 straight, up to 8 posts total. Whoop-dee-doo. 2 things. First, credit to Darcy Kemper in this game. He kept the Avs in it, made a number of good saves, including a couple blocker side, something that I've been pointing out a lot as he's been weak on that side. He made a couple to keep this a 2-goal game. The goaltender gave the Avs a chance to win. It was the offense that came up short in this game. And then you have the Avs' only goal, which, hey, better than getting shut out, but even the goal isn't all that interesting. It's kind of just one that finds its way in. Just to show you how messy this is, even when it works for Colorado, Mikko hands the puck off to Makar, who goes in deep. It gets poked off of his stick. He has to win a puck battle and then fire an ugly pass that the Avs just have to make work to maintain possession in the zone for this play to even happen. It's just not pretty. Eventually works over to McKinnon, who's going to get it back to Makar up high. Makar, decent job of closing in and using the space he had. Throws a puck on net. This is not a particularly good shot. It's not deflected, and it just somehow trickles through Leonard's 5-hole. Look, it's great that Cale Makar got a goal, anything to get that dude going, because he still hasn't come close to playing his best game, even with a goal here and some good scoring against Tampa the other night. It's obvious that dude has a lot more to give the team, so maybe take that as a positive that he's moving in the right direction. More importantly on that pair, Bo and Byram has started this season extremely well. Getting way too ahead of ourselves, talking about a potential Calder conversation here, but his 5 points in 6 games has put him in the conversation with Lucas Raymond and Moritz Seider. That is huge for the Avs defense. And honestly, the Avs' best highlight of the night certainly isn't the goal. It's probably Jack Johnson's fight with Nick Waugh. Johnson got a number of good punches in, kind of beat the crap out of him, with Nick Waugh the one stepping up to him after Jack Johnson's hit. So take the dubs where you can, I guess. Unfortunately, Jack Johnson got into that fight because of his hit. That was clean to me. I mean, maybe it's a 2-minute interference if you want to call it that. That's fine. I have no problems with it. But it certainly should not have been a 5-minute major penalty to a player that was perfectly fine in the third period. Came back and continued to play in the game. For my own mental health, I cannot continue to talk about this nonsense and inconsistency of a reffing in the Department of Player Safety from the NHL, so I'm going to leave it at that, but just know, yeah, it's still a problem. Refs pretty much swallowed their whistles for the third period. The Avs don't find a way to break through because their offense just is not executing, it's not consistent enough, and the depth is simply not producing. The Avs need more out of Kadri, out of Burakovsky, out of Comfer, out of Jost, out of everyone that isn't the three-headed monster. And to be honest, they probably need more out of the three-headed monster too. So they just need more. The empty netter goes in, and the Avs lose this one 3-1. Keep it nice and short because that's appropriate for this one. That is the end of this game video review. Thank you for watching. Check out thednvr.com for all of our coverage. I am Rudo, and eventually this team's going to start scoring a lot of goals.
Avalanche time, come on, grab your friends. We're going to the playoffs again with Nate the dog and Gabe the big. The fun isn't over yet, it is Avalanche time.